We're here. Number one, Avatar: The Last Airbender. It wasn't going to be anything else. Yes, that's right. Avatar: The Last Airbender is my top favourite TV show of all time. If you've not seen this show, get onto Netflix right now. It's there. Go watch it, then come back and watch this video because I'm going to be talking spoilers, and this is a show you don't want spoiled because it is such a great show. It is one of the best, in my opinion, the best TV show ever made. I'm wearing Air Nomad. Look at this. I love it. I love it. So in this video, I'm going to be talking my favourite series, my favourite episode, my favourite character, the show's diversity, and just all kinds of crazy, amazing things as to why this show is the absolute best. So for starters, the reason why this show is one of my favourites is that I think it pretty much gave me my moral compass in life. I think that's what it did so well. The fact that this cartoon on Nickelodeon gave me and many thousands and millions of people a moral compass, I think just says everything, but not in a way that virtue signals or anything like that. It's just woven into the show's fabric and the development of characters and plot lines and the world building just all aid into creating this world where the definitions between good and evil are clear, but then people step into the morally grey, and we get to experience that and learn from that as we go and as the show goes. And let's talk about that world building. It's so simple. 4 nations based on the elements: fire, water, earth, air. I had to think about that, and I don't know why. It's because I'm so excited to be talking about this show. You know, such a great starting off point, and that the fact that there are people within these nations that can control those 4 elements, bend them to their will, create massive waterfalls, tornadoes, shift a mountain. Okay, I mean, they can't quite go that powerful. Only the Avatar could probably do that in the Avatar state once they're a fully developed Avatar that's master. You know what I mean? It's just vast and epic in the scope of it. And then you have the material world and the spirit world and all this crazy goodness that this show just delivers on. So let's talk about my favourite season. You have 3 of them all together. Book 1, water. Book 2, earth. Book 3, fire. And Earth, book 2, is my favourite. For me, this season really took the show to new heights. I feel season 1 was a great introduction. Water was a great introduction. We got to learn who the 4 main characters are. Well, 4 main characters for season 1 at least anyway, in Aang, Katara, Sokka and Zuko. And then we got to learn who they are, understand what their wants and objectives and desires are. And then when we get into season 2, we get to see that develop and see those characters grow as they stumble upon a lot of hardships. This season it's darker. It's very much, for me at least, the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy of seasons. And I think also that a lot of the episodes, as far as I can remember, the majority of episodes are plot-driven episodes. There's a very distinct lack of filler episodes in season 2, which sometimes both season 1 and 3 succumb to. They succumb to those filler episodes. And then we also get the introduction of my favourite episode and my favourite character in season 2 as well. My favourite character is Toph. She's insane. If you know, you know. She's 8 years old? 8-year-old girl? 10 years old? I think maybe 10 years old. I think she's 10 years old, and she's an earthbender, and she's blind, and we're introduced to her early on in season 2, and we're told that she's feeble, that she can't do all these things. We're told by her parents that she's feeble, she's weak, she's blind, she's a 10-year-old girl, she can't do anything. And then she turns out to be this badass earthbender who literally has a way of earthbending that is so unique. She can feel vibrations through her feet on the ground, and she can see that way, and she bends the earth and kicks the ass of these other earthbenders, and you're just like, holy macaroni, this kid has got some skill. And the way she develops past that, her earthbending evolves, she gets stronger, she begins to learn different forms of bending, she gets better at sand bending, she discovers and creates metal bending, which was never seen or thought of before Toph in this world. A 10-year-old girl learns how to bend metal, bend the earth, the fragments of earth still inside the metal.
Woo! Toph, you rule.
And she is also the queen of sass. Oh my gosh. So actually the official Avatar The Last Airbender YouTube channel recently put up a video of all of Toph's nicknames that she gives to everybody else, and it's in abundance. I didn't actually realize as to how many nicknames she doles out in the 2 seasons she's in, but it is hilarious. As I said, I really love season 2 because it delivers my favorite character as well as my favorite episode, and my favorite episode of the show is the desert. Now for me, this episode kind of goes really under the radar when it comes to a lot of people's favorite episodes. A lot of people tend to go with either the storm, maybe the crossroads of destiny. I've seen a lot of people liking the Avatar and the Fire Lord, or even just the finale episode as well. And these are all great episodes, but for me, they don't really stand out when it comes to the desert. For me, the desert fundamentally is the most interesting episode because it is the real first time and only time, for me at least, in the show where we see a darker side of Aang, this 12-year-old kid who is just full of life and enjoyment, even though he has the weight of the world on his shoulders and this incredibly big task in front of him that he has to complete. He never really gets put down by it. He's always kind of cheerful about it, and he always kind of goes with the flow and likes to rediscover the world in this new age after being frozen in ice for 100 years. But in the desert, you know, his best friend, the only real remnants of his people, Appa, goes missing, and the fallout of it is showcased beautifully here. He sort of in a way disowns his friend. He doesn't want to talk to them. He doesn't want to know. None of them can bring Appa back. So who are they? Why do you matter? Why does any of it matter? Unless you can get Appa back here in front of me, I don't care. And this was interesting. It was kind of like seeing the sort of fallen from grace kind of character. He doesn't quite get that far, you know. He does sort of pick himself back up come the next episode. But throughout this whole episode, seeing this dark, moody version of Aang, yeah, I thought it was handled so beautifully, because how would he react if his best friend, and as I say, the only remnant to his past life, his people, goes missing? How is he going to feel about that? And then we have the moment, 2 moments. We have the moment, firstly, when he attacks the vulture wasp, the buzzard wasp, and I mean, that's a killing blow. He kills that thing. And this was really the first on-screen death in this show. And, you know, it was of our main character, our protagonist, our happy-go-lucky hero, who kills an animal because his best friend, his pet, his companion has been taken from him. And it's dark. I love it. I love that the show was brave and willing to go to that place. And then the second moment at the end of the episode, when he gets so angry at the Sandbenders and it powers up the Avatar state in him, and you know, everyone's like, get out of there. Sokka's like grabs Toph and runs, and then Katara shows him that empathy, shows him that everything is going to be okay. And I never ever failed to cry at that moment. I think it's just so beautiful. I think it's just so raw and honest and true, and gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm probably gonna have to go watch this episode right away now, just to feel something, just to feel like Spider Noir and the Spider-Verse.
Sometimes I let matches burn down to my fingertips just to feel something, anything.
Let's talk about the show's diversity as well. That's always interesting with a cartoon, because I feel it's always easy to diversely represent people in cartoon, because you can draw characters to however you want them to look. It then sort of boils down to maybe who is voice acting them, but at the same time, it's voice acting. The whole point of a voice actor is that you can morph your voice to sound different, and to, especially with animation, to be interesting and characterful and so on and so forth. But either way, the diversity, and I think maybe what we can more talk about Avatar is how the culture of the show is handled, because it is an American made cartoon, but it is very much an East Asian setting and draws heavily on East Asian culture. And from conversations of East Asian and South Asian people, because I think it kind of delves into South Asia as well at times, but whenever I've heard people from that continent talking about this show, or who have heritage from that continent talking about this show, they are always amazed at how accurate it can be at times, and to how beautifully and gently handled that part of the culture, those parts of culture that it brings in, have been handled. They're always in high praise about it. That is comforting to know, that even though it's been made by and created by two white Americans, they've actually really handled it beautifully and really have done their homework and understand what it is that they are trying to deliver. And I think that is fantastic. And it just shows an appreciation for those cultures as well. The fact that these guys wanted to make something different, wanted to make something that explored, I want to say explored a different part of the world, explore cultures from a different part of the world. You know, it's easier with an animation, and it's particularly this animation, to talk about that aspect that it brings to the table rather than saying, yeah, it's got a great diverse range of characters, which it does, because characters just are who they are. It doesn't matter as to what race they are, as to what sexuality they are, as to what gender they are, as if they have any disabilities or not. You know, let's look at the character of Toph. Being blind somehow gets considered a disability. Well, for Toph, it's her greatest strength. It's her asset. She uses it to her advantage. You know, there's actually a real beautiful moment in the episode The Tales of Ba Sing Se. There's another episode that people really love, and she says, I don't have to ever care about what I look like. It's one of the advantages of being blind. I don't need to worry about what anybody looks like. I can just tell everything I need to know about a person by who they are and what they say. And I think that's just an incredible, beautiful message. So that is the end of the countdown of my top 10 favourite TV shows of all time with Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you want to see the rest of the countdown, make sure you click this card here. I'd love to know your thoughts on my favourite TV shows of all time. So make sure you let me know in the comment section down below. If you've liked this video, please drop it with a like. It really helps. And if you love talking diversity in film and TV, make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on those notifications so you get future videos into your inbox talking positively about diversity in film and TV. I've been Elliot. Thank you very much. Hakuna MaChatter.